And hello everyone, welcome to the Mole Hole. I'm your host Chriz, aka the Mole, and we did one for DC, so some people felt we needed to do this for the Marvel one as well. So here we go, contractual obligations. So yeah, we this is basically Marvel announced their Phase 3 of their movies, which was Captain America: Civil War, May 6, 2016. Doctor Strange, November 4th, 2016. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, May 5th, 2017. Thor Ragnarok, July 28th, 2017. Black Panther, November 3rd, 2017. Avengers Infinity War Part 1, May 4th, 2018. Captain Marvel, July 6th, 2018. Inhumans, November 2nd, 2018. And Avengers Infinity War Part 2, May 3rd, 2019. With that out of the way, joining me is James Phoenix.
Oh,
I'm Marcus Shadow.
Yo.
So we'll leave the negative with us first, but let's take it away with the positives. Let's go with James, the guy that wanted to do this.
fair enough. I want to do this because I'm just looking at the slate of films. It seems like they've got a lot of really good films coming up. Focusing on the positive here, I'm very excited for the Doctor Strange movie because while I don't know that much, I'm excited in the movie to learn more about the character. I'm going to check out some of the comics too because I've always thought Doctor Strange was a pretty cool character. The fact that he was, a surgeon who was a very meticulous kind of guy, but then he gained this, became the Sorcerer Supreme and got these powers. So I'm really excited to see that movie, especially if they do end up casting Benedict Cumberbatch in the title role. Of course, Captain America: Civil War, that's going to be interesting to see how they pull off Civil War, especially when it's in a Captain America movie and not a full-on Avengers movie. That's going to be interesting to see if they can balance that out as being Captain America and not being all about Tony Stark and whoever else they get in there. Yes, Marcus?
I was going to say, well, that's going to be interesting considering they don't have most of the players of Civil War, and Tony Stark's not a dick in this universe. So, yeah.
No, he's not a dick, but at the same time, you could see how easily he might become a dick. I mean, the government already thinks he's a dick.
Not to the same degree.
But also, in this universe, there's no reason for it because, I don't know, Tony Stark's the guy who came right out and said, I am Iron Man.
He did that in the comics, too.
Not quite to that degree. Captain America doesn't usually wear his mask that much. Everyone knows who he is.
And to be fair with Iron Man in the comics, for years he did not say he was Iron Man.
No, okay.
For many years he didn't. He kept trying to pass it off as Iron Man was just his bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone that worked for him, and eventually he just ended up saying, yeah, okay, fine, I'm Iron Man, just because it got ridiculous with his cover stories, and he was like, okay, fine, I'm kind of done here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And in this universe, Hawkeye doesn't wear a mask, so everybody knows who he is.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make much sense to me to do Civil War when you have almost nobody in a mask. It's like, really?
I think the Civil War is going to be less about masks and more about whether heroes should have to register under government control of their powers and their doings.
But they work for S.H.I.E.L.D. They're kind of already registered under government control.
If you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you will know for well that, no, the government is trying to exterminate S.H.I.E.L.D., actually. See, this goes back to Mole's problem of you've got to watch everything to know what the fuck's going on anymore.
It also goes into Mole's problems of plot holes.
That too.
Yep.
Because as we saw in Avengers, they're above the government.
Yeah, not when they're destroyed and they have all of, less than 20 agents left. Not really.
Yeah, which they shouldn't have been destroyed the way they were, which was ridiculous in itself.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Plot hole-ish itself, but yeah.
I think the fact of the matter is going to come down to the fact that there's no S.H.I.E.L.D. to protect them anymore. And I think the point thinking about this is that Tony Stark, Tony Stark has some questioning about this whole superhero thing. The fact that he went into full-on PTSD after the whole Battle of New York, he destroyed all his Iron Man suits, everything else. Obviously, he's going to suit up again because Avengers 2. But the fact is, Tony Stark has kind of got the reality check of, it is, what we're doing is really dangerous. And seeing that, the destruction of Manhattan and everything else, it would make sense with the fact that half of Manhattan got destroyed, that seeing these superhumans and all this stuff going on, that the government would turn around and say, maybe we should start, keeping tabs on all these people with power so we know what the hell they're doing.
Oh, I completely agree with it makes sense with the government doing that. However, I would say it completely lessens and underdoes everything about Civil War. Because even Captain America and the other people said they understand that the government wanted this, but the reason people didn't want to go to the registration is because then all their identities get known and all the people they care about become targets. Doesn't really work when in this universe almost no one has a secret identity. The closest to it is Bruce Banner, and even his identity is known to the government.
Yep.
True.
Which means it boils down to, hey, Captain America, take responsibility for your actions. No. Oh, great, now Cap's the dick.
Yeah, that could be.
Ruined Captain America.
Oops. So we'll see where that one plays out, because that one's obviously going to define the Marvel Universe. It's only 3 films away. We, of course, only have Avengers 2 and Ant-Man to go before that one. So we'll see how that plays out. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I haven't seen the first one. I'll reserve judgment. Thor Ragnarok, I've liked the last couple of Thor movies as much as Natalie Portman's inability to act has brought them down. I should say inability to act in this particular franchise, because we've seen that she can act.
He acts well in Thor.
Okay. All right, not Natalie Portman's inability to act, you're right. Natalie Portman's character's inability to be relevant. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, so because it just seems like they put her in there because Thor needs a girlfriend. That's like her only purpose in existing. It's like Mary Jane in the Spider-Man movies, the earlier ones, not the current ones, obviously.
For Thor Ragnarok, though, from what I've heard, and Mole can verify or contradict this because he's the comic guy, unless you haven't read any Thor. But from what I heard, people are speculating that this is going to be the last Thor movie because it's called Ragnarok.
I know, is Ragnarok a storyline in the comics? Well, is that something we can
Well,
draw?
there's a storyline, and then there's the mythology. If you know your ancient mythology, Ragnarok is the death of the gods. So in Ragnarok, basically Thor dies, Odin dies, Loki dies, basically everybody dies.
True, but this is comics, and nobody ever stays dead.
Yeah, well, apparently in the comics, and this is the part that Mole can talk about. But from what I understand, in the comics, when the Ragnarok event happened in the Thor comics, Odin fucking bit the dust.
Yep, I believe that's correct.
Fair enough. I will also note here from my Wikipedia that Ragnarok is also a character.
Yep.
Fair enough.
He actually first appeared in
Doomsday.
Yeah, he's a cyborg clone of Thor, and he first appeared in Civil War #3. So given the order of films there...
Yep, he's the one everyone refers to as Claw.
Fair enough.
Because that's the point where Civil War went from a great and a unique concept to, oh, cool, Thor's back. Oh, he's a shitty robot clone. Oh, bravo. Oh, now Spider-Man's unmasking and Iron Man's laughing about ruining a child's life. Bravo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goody, now we're sending villains after the heroes to prove that both sides are equal? What?
Yeah.
Comics are weird.
That one was, because they ruined it halfway through.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. No, yeah. I'll put it to you this way. Comics are weird. At one of the libraries I just work at, we just got an anthology of comics known as Captain Carrot.
Yep. But to be fair, I would argue that's the same with any genre.
True.
Because for every, say, Frasier that's on TV or something like that, you have Adventure Time. Which, while I'm not saying Adventure Time's bad, it's just weird.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre, yeah. It's like somebody's acid trip they turned into a cartoon show.
Yep. The other reason people are surmising that Thor Ragnarok is a reference to the Ragnarok event is because Chris Hemsworth is at the point in his career where he's skyrocketing, where he's off doing other stuff, and he's done 2 Thor movies now. He's going to do a 3rd one, and he's done several Avengers. Chris Hemsworth is at the point where I think, and the people who have said this believe that he's ready to kind of retire the hammer for a little while and maybe come back for Infinity War 2 or whatever. But aside from that, he's ready to retire the hammer and go off to bigger, better, greater things because now he's almost a household name.
To be fair though, that wouldn't be a necessary thing for the retiring the hammer, as you put it, because Thor Ragnarok comes out 2017. Infinity Wars Part 2 is just 2 years later. That's like almost the difference between the two Thor films the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would make sense that if anything, Thor will probably show up in Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2. And I get the feeling Infinity War is probably going to be the end of most of the earlier established Marvel characters, and at that point, either that's when characters like Doctor Strange and Black Panther will like kind of and people like and Ant-Man, they'll kind of form the new Avengers. At that point, I think.
Well, actually, what one of the speculative rumors going around is that Infinity War 1 isn't going to have any of the Avengers in it. It's going to be a new team, and it's going to be spearheaded by the Guardians of the Galaxy.
That could be interesting.
Big Ass War, and then Infinity War 2, all the original Avengers are going to come back because Infinity War, and and people reckon that Infinity War 2 is going to be the big send off for the original cast.
I could see that.
And what did you think about the films that were announced, the positives so far, Marcus?
I hadn't finished talking about them, but okay.
Oh, okay, I thought you had because you mentioned every single film on the list.
No, I didn't. We didn't talk about Black Panther or Captain Marvel yet.
I was going to say, Black Panther looks awesome.
You mentioned Black Panther.
Right.
When you mentioned Doctor Strange.
I love Black Panther's suit. It looks cool. Black Panther is probably the one movie that I'm looking most forward to. I kind of want to see that movie just because I loved Black Panther. I didn't have a lot of his comics, but I've read comics with him in it, and I always liked the character. And so it's like, now he's getting a full movie, and the suit looks amazing. I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to see this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's really, aside from the Avengers stuff, that's really the only movie on the slate that I actually am looking forward to, that I'm kind of hyped up for and want to see.
That's fair enough. I mean, that seems like a. I've heard of Black Panther. I don't know much about the character, but it sounds like a cool character that I'd like to learn more about. So I'm excited that he has a movie, so I can kind of see what he's all about. As for the Captain Marvel movie, another major female hero. I'm all for gender equality, so that's a good thing. We'll see how that plays out. And I've heard the Inhumans are a pretty cool team, depending on what they do with it. If they tie in Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver there and stick Ms. Marvel on that team, that could be a pretty interesting team of Marvel's answer to the X-Men right there. So that could be pretty cool too. So
it could be interesting, but the thing that turns me off about the Inhumans is that I grew up with the original Inhumans. So A, not having the team that I consider the Inhumans in there, and B, not having any ties to Fantastic Four just kind of turns me off, because to me the Inhumans have always been tied to Fantastic Four with the Medusa-Johnny Storm relationship.
Fair enough.
And I love the original Inhumans. They were fucking awesome.
I'll admit, on the list, I'm looking forward to Doctor Strange and maybe Black Panther.
Yeah, Doctor Strange. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too.
Besides those two, I really don't care.
Yeah, I'm with Mole.
Fair enough.
And the reason I let everyone else go first was to get the positives out of the way, so we might as well go into the negatives.
Feel free.
Civil War, with none of the major people, don't care. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they should have been left more as their own thing, so they didn't seem as reliant on the universe. That just seems stupid. Thor Ragnarok, we've already had 2 Thor films. I'm kind of sick of Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America in those films as it is. Black Panther, the reason I'm saying to that one is, it seems cool that they're doing Black Panther, but all it seems like to me, and the way it's being built up, is he's basically just going to be used as the Batman of this universe. And it's going to be that. And it's just for an excuse for the little Marvel fanboys who think it's funny to say Batflick. To say Ben Affleck isn't Batman, despite actually not seeing his performance yet, and judging it with their brain. We'll turn around and say, oh yeah, Black Panther's a better Batman than Ben Affleck. It's like, yeah, fuck off. Infinity War Part 1 and 2, I don't really care about at the moment, because they've kind of ruined that with all the other stuff that they've done with the universe. Captain Marvel could be kind of cool, but I don't know, it just seemed like an answer to Wonder Woman. And the Inhumans is X-Men without being X-Men, so yay, we got Scarlet Witch, yay, we have Quicksilver, cool. Where's the word mutant? Where's Magneto?
Yeah.
People will say, well, they had to do that because Fox has the rights to X-Men and they wouldn't play fair. Then don't use them.
Yeah.
It's like if I bought the properties of DC characters, let's say from DC, for the movies, and I had the rights to Bruce Wayne, but I did not have the rights to his parents, Crime Alley, or the word Bat. I'm not doing anything to do with Batman. It would seem kind of pointless.
Yep.
So yeah, this Phase 1 of Marvel up to Avengers was fucking awesome. Phase 2, parts of it were good. Parts that I've seen have been good. The only one I haven't seen yet, to be fair, is obviously the one to come out and Guardians of the Galaxy, but the rest I saw were just okay. And Phase 3 just looks like it's crap. It's sort of that thing I feel with the phases with Marvel of, it's sort of like with video games, if you will. Phase 1 is the first video game that gets released, cool. Phase 2 becomes the inevitable yearly sequel. Year 3 becomes the yet another inevitable yearly sequel that you've rushed out just to make some money.
Yeah.
But that's my thoughts.
I kind of agree, although I kind of understand why they would have that mentality, especially in the movie industry, because let's face it, the actors and actresses aren't getting any younger, and with how long it takes to make movies, they kind of have to rush it if they want their actors and actresses to, still be able to do their shit.
Oh, I agree.
Understand that.
I agree, but I think Phase 1 could have been leading up to the Avengers. Phase 2 could have been like a next generation of superheroes and new groups and stuff, and then build them together that way and done it that way, instead of how heavily they've done it this way. Because I understand actors get old and stuff, and you want to make as many films as possible, but at this point, it feels like, do you remember when we had Guitar Hero and Rock Band?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what happened when every year they brought out DJ Hero? Oh, here's Band Hero, here's Rock Band, here's Rock Band Aerosmith, here's Rock Band Beatles. People got sick of it. It oversaturated the market and it died.
Yeah, that's true.
And I feel that's a real possibility right now.
Yeah, that superheroes are so hot that they're all wanting to jump on it, and they're trying to basically milk it for all it's worth, and in doing so, saturating the market to the point that superheroes aren't going to be the hot thing.
Pretty much. They're going to make it so that people get sick of seeing these same people. But I don't know. What does Jim think about what I said?
I can understand the concern, and you're right. They are very heavily applying on these heroes. And obviously it's mostly for the money, but I can understand that's... I can understand the problem with oversaturation, and hoping that doesn't happen. But I think that's why they're saying, okay, we understand this, so now we're going to use this next phase. We're going to wrap up the last... Phase 3 is, okay, the old heroes from the first generation, they're going to get wrapped up and finished. We're going to introduce all these new heroes, and they're going to take it through Phase 4, and we're going to go from there. They understand that, okay, we got to move into new heroes. We got to start moving, get the storylines of what we need to do with these characters out of the way, and then move into some of these other heroes, and use these new heroes, and make money off of them, and kind of circle it around.
Yeah, but the problem is they're bringing out all these new heroes that nobody cares about. It seems like they're, and Will, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if you feel this way, but I do, that a lot of these movies come out, it's like, okay, they're interesting, they're unique, but at the same time, it seems like they're doing it for all the wrong reasons. They're doing it as reactions to stuff. They're doing it because their competitor is getting a leg up on them, Like Mole said, the only ones that really interest me are the Black Panther and Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange was announced way in advance, so they already had that in mind. Now, Doctor Strange is an awesome character, and they could go a lot of different ways with that one. And, of course, Black Panther, I just like Black Panther, and I look forward to seeing what they do. But I am afraid that they're going to do what Mole said and basically turn him into the Black Batman. And I'm just like, please don't do that.
Yeah, but it's like I also feel the... what the hell do you call it? I also feel that the Infinity War thing, Part 2, all the way back in 2019, that'll be 11 years since we had Phase 1. 11 years. I kind of feel like after you've kind of teased Thanos at the end of Avengers, you should have done that story now. Because now it looks like if you're going to finally complete the story, it's an almost 10-year journey that people have been waiting to see this conclusion. It's probably not going to live up to the hype of all this build-up.
Nope.
And throwing every group that they possibly can, like making a movie of like the Inhumans suddenly in the middle of the Avengers films and spinning it off Guardians of the Galaxy just to insert them in Avengers and then insert Guardians of the Galaxy and then all the Avengers. It seems like it's going to be a clusterfuck.
Right. When does Captain America 3 come out?
2016.
May 6, 2016.
It's one of the first ones to come out from Phase 3, right?
It is the first one to come up for Phase 3.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. I just realized something. All the problems that both Mole and I have with the Civil War coming up in Captain America, yeah, look at the movies that are coming out after it. You're going to bring out Civil War before you introduce the heroes that wear fucking masks. What the hell is wrong with you? You have Civil War and then you introduce Black Panther? The fuck? I mean, I know he's going to be in that movie, but still.
Yeah, to be fair.
In the Inhumans, they all wear masks.
Yeah, he could be. To be fair, he could be introduced in Captain America: Civil War properly, and maybe I can see him possibly filling the Spider-Man role.
Right, but I mean, still,
He won't have a secret identity when it comes time for Black Panther.
Yeah, but I believe they did say that Black Panther would be introduced in Civil War. They did say
right, but my point is, if you look at all the new movies that are coming out with the new heroes and heroines coming out after that, every single one of them are heroes and heroines with masks. You have Captain Marvel, you have the Inhumans, you have Black Panther. It's like, really?
Captain Marvel doesn't wear a mask, does he? She
Yeah.
does? Okay.
Every iteration
She wears like the Nightwing style.
Ah, fair enough.
It's like, aren't you kind of doing that ass backwards? Don't you introduce the people with the masks first, which then gives you the reason for the Civil War?
I could understand that. Bit, but the other part with that is, look at who they're introducing with the masks besides Black Panther. The Inhumans and Captain Marvel. They're all people from space. If they went to Civil War, they'd have nothing to lose if they got ID'd.
True.
Which means that also goes into the thing of, well, why would you do this? Why would you try and do Civil War?
And it wouldn't make any sense for Black Panther to give a crap if he's ID'd because he's not even subject to the supposed Registration Act because he doesn't live in America. He runs his own fucking country.
I realize you probably Wikipedia'd that, but to be fair...
I remember that being mentioned. I'm
heard you
familiar with the character, and I know that he does run a country.
Yeah, but to be fair, Thor's meant to be an actual god.
Alien god, but yeah.
No, he's meant to be an actual god. Now they've turned him into an alien.
True. So you're saying Black Panther will not be running a country?
I could see him maybe running a country, but maybe just to avoid, like what they did with the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, to avoid certain countries, I'm not going to mention names, but let's just say it rhymes with Bina, basically getting offended at any possible ties that this may have to any dictators in power there, or anyone who leads there, or anything like that, or any other countries getting offended. They'll probably try and make it more politically correct, and he'll probably be an ambassador, but not a full-on owner or runner of a country. So it's like, oh, so this is causing an international incident.
Fair enough. I can see that. But I think it's also interesting that they're going that route, simply by virtue of, I think the purpose of Civil War is supposed to between Civil War and Ragnarok, it's supposed to kind of wrap up the Earth storyline. Because I think what they're doing is they're kind of switching the Thanos thing to space. That's why they're bringing in all the space people, the Inhumans, Captain Marvel, all the space people, kind of wrapping up a lot of the Earth stuff, even Doctor Strange to a point, kind of wrapping up a lot of the Earth stuff, taking the Infinity War to space where it's going to be, which is why the first one will be, Infinity War, it's all the space people, and then it'll end up on Earth, and the Earth people will come out to help. And I think with Civil War, what they could do is, all these space people here, and they all wear masks. Well, if these people happen to be on Earth, despite being space people, except maybe the Guardians of the Galaxy for obvious reasons, if the Inhumans and Captain Marvel and Black Panther people are on Earth, they get involved here. Having this Hero Registration Act and this whole big thing, and required heroes got to register. We don't want heroes identities to be known.
I hate to interrupt. Can you guys understand anything I'm saying?
Yes.
Because you guys are breaking up like fuck to me, to the point that you sound worse than Stephen Hawking.
Oh, we hear you perfectly fine.
And each other fine.
All right, you guys sound fine now. That was weird. You guys were both breaking up like fuck.
Your internet is terrible. Moving on. Like I was saying, you wonder why STO won't work. Anyway, like I was saying, I think it was interesting because what you could say is, okay, Civil War
probably won't work because it's gone free to play, and when games go free to play, they tend to be shitty and broken. Look at DCUO. But what were you pointing?
My point was, if Civil War's happening and they do this Hero Registration Act, as the heroes got to register when you know their identities, would that not necessarily be all the more reason for, if you're going to introduce characters, all these people, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, and the Humans, people to come out and say, hey, this act is going on. Well, we're superheroes. We have powers. We wear masks, and we disagree with this law. And we're coming out to say that there are a lot of us out here in masks that disagree with this law, and we're not going to do this, and that people shouldn't support this. That will be your way of introducing all these characters as masks, is they come out to oppose the law, saying we are heroes in masks, and we oppose this law, and they take Captain America's side. That would make sense to introduce all these characters, and then you get the backstory on all these characters you just introduced. Sort of the same way DC has busted out Justice League after just establishing the main three, and then go back and introduce all the rest of the members.
Yeah, but it also doesn't make sense for them to all come down and be like, we're in space, we all wear these masks, because it's like, well, good for you. You're on another planet. Your law doesn't affect us.
Yeah, I would make the point Captain Marvel isn't from space.
Yeah, and the point I was just trying to make is that this is the cinematic universe. There's already been quite a few changes. Aside from the Guardians of the Galaxy, all these others could be on Earth. They might not necessarily be space people.
Yeah.
We've already established that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are on Earth. It's easy enough for Ms. Marvel to be on Earth in some capacity and have them there. Captain Marvel could easily be, maybe from Earth, but space, but came to Earth or something. And Black Panther is from Earth. So it's easy enough to work the majority of them in from Earth.
Although I will say that they do have heroes with masks they could use, but I dread if they do that.
Yeah, and again, Captain Marvel is from Earth. She's not from space. The original Captain Marvel was from space. The powers are from space. Carol Danvers is human. Well, mutant, but still.
Yeah, she is, but she mainly patrols space.
But once she got those powers, yeah.
Yeah, which means it doesn't really affect her, because she's not going to have to come back to Earth to register. But I was going to say, they do have heroes with masks and stuff, and I said I'm dreading if they did that, because doesn't Daredevil come out like the year before Civil War?
Oh, God.
And if they make Matt Murdock unmasked, I'm not watching any more of those films.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
They could use Matt Murdock in the Spider-Man role.
That's exactly what I was just talking about.
Ah, fair enough.
With the unmasking, that was Spider-Man's main purpose, was to be fucked over by Iron Man and unmasked.
Fair enough.
And also to get his ass kicked by Iron Man when he put him in a suit which Iron Man could disable and beat him up if he ever disobeyed him.
The Iron Devil.
I really don't want to see an Iron Devil. Plus, how much of a dick would that look like if they turned around and they took a blind guy, unmasked him, told all his enemies who he was, and then screwed him over for the purpose of the government? That would be really shitty just because he's blind. Come on. You won't even see the attacks coming.
In all fairness, hopefully we can avoid most of that, because as we established earlier in the podcast, this version of Tony Stark is not that much of a dick.
He's not. But
not only that, because of Matt Murdock's profession, he would be disbarred and then be out on the street.
Yep.
That too.
But hopefully they don't actually go that route. And like I said, there is some positives, like we mentioned, with Doctor Strange and stuff. That could be cool. And to be fair, there are some people out there, and I'll just say hi, QJ, who are looking forward to these universes. I mean, our opinion's not everyone's. I mean, some of you out there may actually be excited for this, I will say, which is fair enough, you're entitled to.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
But I will say, there is someone I think will not be disappearing at the end of Avengers Infinity War.
Okay.
Who's that? Hulk. Probably.
Because everyone's mentioning all the heroes from Earth and no one's mentioning Hulk.
Hulk doesn't care. Hulk smash.
I mean, I think Hulk should play a big part in Infinity War.
I agree.
Hell, I really hope they don't do the other route we're led into with sort of tied into his Civil War and stuff like that. Hopefully they don't do that with Hulk. I'm really hoping they don't send him off the planet.
Planet Hulk.
Yep.
Please don't. Marvel, please don't.
Yeah, but I will say overall, like some people were amazed by the fact they did a presentation with this. I was not. I much preferred the other route, which was the similar route to what they've done with some of their other stuff in the past before now. Is because if you announce it to us that these films are coming and give us the list, cool, we get excited. If you make a big song and dance and just show a logo like you should have been showing more, I always feel it's lazy, and I understand that they haven't even filmed them yet. But it's like, don't hype them yet then. Just make a list. Show us stuff when you've got something to show us, or at least concept pictures.
Indeed. Indeed.
I can agree with that.
As do I.
Well, fair enough.
Alright, then. You want to take us home, Mo?
Okay, then I was your host, Chriz the Mole. I was joined by Marcus Shadow and James Phoenix. Let us know what you think below, or on the boards, or Twitter, or whatever. So, see ya.